Hey everybody, welcome back. I've always loved traveling, and I recently had an experience where I felt like I was transported to an exotic and faraway place. The food was so good and authentic that for a moment I forgot that I was in Las Vegas. I still can't believe that this kind of a place exists in my hometown. It's definitely one of the hottest places around. Inside this place, I found towering dim sum carts. Most of the customers were Asian, and there was a lot of foreign languages being spoken, all of which made me feel like I was in another country. I had traveled to Asia. The food seemed as authentic as it can get. There were plenty of tables. It was a fairly large restaurant. It was a very busy place, packed with people. It was obvious that this was the place to be. They had live seafood tanks and a ticketing system for you to wait for your table. I was still deciding whether it was worth the wait, but the dim sum carts were really inviting, and I decided to go ahead and pull a ticket and wait for my table. I'm at New Asian Bbq. This is at 5150 Spring Mountain. See the description below for more details. This is in the heart of Chinatown, just a few miles from the strip. Parking can be a hassle. You might even have to park at the adjacent shopping centers next to the restaurant. But even as busy as this place was on this day, the wait was only about 45 minutes, so it wasn't too bad. This is the sister location of a very small Asian barbecue located just north of Spring Mountain on Jones. The one on Jones is actually a very small restaurant. This one is fairly large. This one is huge. And from what all the people are telling me, this is the place to go for dim sum, Chinese barbecue, or just Chinese food in general. This is a huge step up from your average Chinese takeout food or Panda Express. This is very authentic. The quality of the food looked amazing. And this is a place where you can truly experience the expertise of the Chinese cuisine. And unless you speak Chinese or have a friend or a guide who speaks Chinese, ordering can be a little bit difficult. Some of the people pushing the dim sum carts didn't speak much English. The dim sum menu and the regular menu is fairly large, and ordering can be a little bit daunting. It wasn't much of a problem for me because I had a guide, but even so, with the dim sum carts going around, I just simply pointed to the ones that I wanted to try. Here's a look at the dim sum pricing. It can range from $5 to $8, so it can add up if you order a lot. I was trying to hold back because I knew we were going to order a lot of food. But the food looked so good. I had to get the shumai, the stuffed eggplant with shrimp. There were just so many items that I wanted to try. The quality was amazing. Everything was fresh and everything was tasty. This was a really good dim sum, probably one of the best I had in Las Vegas. They have a lot of live seafood here. You want to make sure that when you're ordering, you know the price, especially if it's listed as market price. This is the Australian coral cod. You want to make sure you check the price and you know what you're getting. Ask before you order. Our main dishes for the day was going to be the Peking duck or Beijing duck, and also the Australian coral cod. The dim sum carts come to your table offering all these wonderful looking dishes, and I'm trying to save room waiting for the food, but I couldn't help ordering from the dim sum carts, especially when they look this good. barbecue items here were really good, especially the pork belly, but I really loved the barbecued pork slices as well as the cold chicken. But the pork belly was my favorite, extremely moist, extremely crispy skin. The bao buns arrived, the very soft and pillowy wrapping for the Peking duck. The duck looked incredible. The traditional way of serving Peking duck is to carve it in front of the table. And Peking duck is generally characterized by the thin, crispy skin. Extremely juicy. You can see the juices just flowing and gushing out of this duck. So if you've had Peking duck before, you know how amazing the flavor is. They serve it with the cucumbers and the spring onions, and sometimes with the crepe wrapper. Here it's the bao buns as the wrapper, along with the sweet bean sauce or hoisin sauce. Whether there is an exact way to eat it with just the skin and then the meat within the buns really doesn't matter, because you can eat it any way you want. The Peking duck here is served in 3 ways. The bones with little bits of meat on it were sauteed with the celery and cabbage. The cabbage and celery had a slightly bitter taste to it. And then you're also given a broth. The broth is soothing and it's intended to cleanse the palate. It has a mild duck flavor. It usually has a cloudy, milky appearance, and it's intended to be eaten while eating your duck. I prefer this kind of bao bun wrapper over the thin crepe wrappers. Ducks are usually very fatty. It has a very rich taste. The cucumbers and spring onion add a slight contrast to it, and it's wonderful with the sweet bean sauce or hoisin sauce. This combination is a flavor bomb. No wonder it was meant for royalty. Fatty and rich and slightly sweet with a little bit of crunch. The live seafood here is also really good. This is the Australian coral cod that I showed at the beginning. This is about as fresh as you can get. I love cod, but this is my first time trying the Australian coral cod. It was really meaty. This was a fat fish with big chunks of meat. There's no overpowering sauce, it's just a light soy ginger sauce topped with a little bit of cilantro. The natural taste of the fish is preserved and the sauce just adds a little accent to it. The fish has a delicate flavor and it's firm yet soft and is very flaky. Another one of our main courses was the pork belly and taro in clay pot. These are alternating slices of pork belly and taro slices. Usually the sauce is made from a combination of fermented red bean and soy sauce. Together they create that umami taste. Once again, extremely fatty and rich in flavor. The pork belly is extremely soft and melts in your mouth. It kind of had a slightly herbal taste. These days I find myself enjoying the cold chicken dish. It's a great alternative to the usual fried or baked chicken. It has a firmer texture. I love the basic flavor of the chicken. And here it's served with a little bit of ginger and green onions. This was a great topping for the chicken. And for one of our last dishes that I'm going to show on this day is the lettuce wraps. The filling is usually minced meat with vegetables in a savory brown sauce. It's very refreshing because of the lettuce and very savory. All of the food here that I experienced was really good. Everything was fresh, the barbecue was moist, everything was tasty. There are some high-profile restaurants on the strip such as Mott 32 at the Palazzo or Blossom at Aria. You're gonna pay a lot more. I've even seen one menu where your average dish was over $100. For prices, check the links in the description below. My whole experience at New Asian Bbq was out of this world. I felt transported to another country. That's how authentic this place was. It's definitely one of my favorites and the best in Vegas. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.